For me, it's always an honor to be able to share my experience with others and hopefully help them reach further in their project. So it's something that I typically do quite often. And also Lab Aberto Fab Lab has an amazing team. They are very professional, super inspiring with the projects that they do. And so I couldn't say no. So it's a pleasure to work and to interact with them. And so these were the main reasons. Lab Aberto Fab Lab Bootcamp has an exciting program. It's quite diverse, includes lectures, workshops, there's mentorship provided as well. It gathers an international panel, and so I think it's a good opportunity to learn about topical matters and expand the knowledge while interacting with a diverse multidisciplinary community of people. Biomedical research and entrepreneurship. So in this field, a big problem is always regulatory constraints related with the certification of biomedical devices and not only on the sensors, but on the devices side as well. And until recently, in particular, until some of the work that we've been developed gained some additional momentum, and I'm talking about Vitalino in particular, there was a severe lack of affordable and easy to use tools that would be easy to program, easy for anyone to access, and that could democratize biomedical technology. So until recently, these devices were mainly tied to a hospital or clinical setting, very expensive. They could be, they could cost as much as a small car. And on the Arduino range, on the low cost end of things, tools were not very accurate. And so we have been making an effort to overcome some of these problems, and these were some of the biggest challenges that we faced. There are a lot more, but I don't think we have enough time to go through this all in detail. This presentation will focus on the scientist project, which essentially is focused on using the mobile phone as a laboratory experimentation tool, because if you think of it, it has many of the sensors that you need to do complete lab experiments, ranging from an imaging device, motion, acceleration sensors, and voice, acoustic sensors, and others. So you have an array of tools that can make the whole difference to have as an experimental activity supporting device. And especially given the latest developments around the adaptation of teaching mechanisms to answer the COVID-19 pandemic situation, where all of a sudden students needed to go home to develop their activities there with very limited access to sufficient resources to do practical activities. And so this led us to explore this device that almost every student has, or at least many students have at their homes, so that they can make the most, both students and professors, make the most of this pocket-sized lab to do experiments that range from physics to biomedical engineering, which are the topics that we are most interested in. And the presentation will essentially review some of the facilities that are enabled by state-of-the-art tools like Google Science Journal and the Arduino Maker 1010 as IoT/mobile journaling devices to support laboratory experiments at home and at the lab, using the most pervasive sensor of them all, which is the smartphone that most people have these days. The Scientist project is a pedagogical innovation project that is sponsored by IST, so Instituto Superior Técnico from the University of Lisbon. It is developed together with the Telecommunications Institute, which is an associated lab and a research center at IST. And it seeks exactly to explore the use of do-it-yourself hardware and mobile tools to enable students to more easily execute and document experiments in order to respond not only to the latest needs in terms of adaptation of the teaching curriculum, but also to enable them more autonomous work. So it's very aligned with the latest practices in terms of project-based learning, flipped classroom, and all of these concepts that are now shaping the future of teaching as we see it. And so it's a project that focuses essentially on these topics.
Obrigado, Hugo, pelas tuas palavras.